Hey folks, this is Brent Dunsell. Welcome to episode 3 of the Markest Smart. Today we got a bit of a big show for you. We're going to review Money in the Bank, one of WWE's premier events of the year, and we also got some news updates for you. Hopefully you enjoy all the technical improvements we've made since episode 2. We put a lot of money into fixing this thing and, by moving the camera closer. So hopefully that works out for you. But first off, a little bit of a correction from episode 2. In episode 2, I said the longest running tag team champions were Brian Kendrick and, which apparently that's not true. The longest reigning tag team champions is not Brian Kendrick and, the longest reigning tag team champions is Brian Kendrick and Paul London. So now that we've got that corrected, we can move on. First update, Jerry Lawler. So we got an update in this situation. Him and his wife appeared before a judge today. Nothing really resolved, nothing said. They're to stay away from each other. Haven't heard comments from WWE. So not a huge update there. It's still up in the air. But I don't believe anybody's is still in custody. Everybody's out. They're just not to be near each other. Who knows where this is going to lead? WWE does have a zero tolerance policy for domestic abuse, as it should. So we'll see how this goes for Jerry and for the announce team on SmackDown. Next update, Candice LeRae, with her injury that we reported on yesterday, took to Twitter to say that she couldn't get any help in the hospital, got fed up, and left. Sounds like it was a Hurricane Rana, which I don't think we talked about yesterday, but it was a Hurricane Rana that was botched that actually did the damage to Candice there. Hopefully not too bad because she left the hospital. So that's our update on Candice. Also on Money in the Bank last night, there is a possible injury from Alberto Del Rio, to Alberto Del Rio. One of the referees did signal the X for an injured wrestler, and Alberto did not get back into the match. We will talk about that later a little bit during our review of that match. WWE still has not commented on it, but word is that he did travel to Raw today, so we'll have to see where that goes. A big announcement today is we got the date for the draft. July 19th, the day that SmackDown goes live on Tuesday, will be the draft. Where we'll get to see what the future of WWE will be, because this is really going to set the pace for it. And speaking of draft, I know we talked yesterday about some of the big names that could be coming up. We talked about like seeing Carlito and Bill Goldberg and Kurt Angle and all these crazy rumors that are going on there. One of the names that I read today and I just mind boggled by is Stevie Richards. And no offense to Stevie Richards, man, like Big Stevie cool, awesome guy, dude. I used to watch this guy in ECW. Love Stevie Richards. But when you just let Cody Rhodes walk away from your company, when you just released guys like Wade Barrett, it's just mind-boggling that we're talking about Stevie Richards now. I don't understand that, but we'll see where this goes. Maybe as a road agent, not as an active talent. I don't see it, but we'll see. And that's our news for today. We're going to go into our Money in the Bank kickoff show with Renee Young, Booker T, Lita, and Corey Graves. We have Todd Phillips back in the Sochmeads Lounge, and Mauro Ranallo and Brian Saxton on commentary for the kickoff matches. One thing that was very clear to me was that this was going to be the greatest Money in the Bank pay-per-view in history. The reason it was clear to me is because WWE told me so. Renee Young told me so. They told me on the video packages. Booker T told me so. Like, everybody told me. So I'm pretty sure this is the greatest Money in the Bank in history, according to WWE. First off, right off the bat, the first thing I noticed when we were watching is Corey Graves is an absolute mess tonight. After all the great things I said about Corey yesterday, I don't know what happened today. It almost seemed like a bit of a gimmick, like, oh, I'm so messed up from being on the Las Vegas Strip last night. But he legitimately did seem messed up, so no idea what's going on with Corey. He managed to pull it together by the end of the show, but that was a bit of a strange one. Lita, on the other hand, back on the show again. and doing a much, much better job. She's improved huge since WrestleMania. Although I will say, little slip up from Lita. Had to laugh to myself when she almost called the club the what was that, Lita? Were you going to say Bullet Club? I'm pretty sure that's some sort of trademark infringement. So good stopping yourself at the and not getting the rest of it out. So a little slip up from Lita there. Other than that, that's about it from the kickoff show, from the announce team. The one thing that kind of was missing for me was we got no Booker T Shucky Ducky moment of the night, or match of the night, or pick of the night. And, you know, Booker T, although I don't want him back on an announce team, this guy is entertaining. And on a kickoff show, he's great. Bring back Shucky Ducky. Give more time to Booker T. He's a funny guy. The only other thing on the kickoff show was Todd Phillips in the Social Medias Lounge talking to Becky Lynch and Natalia. Only thing to note there was on Father's Day, mind you, which was yesterday, they asked Natalia who her biggest influences were, and Becky Lynch who their biggest influences were, and I can't remember everybody that Natalia said, but definitely she said Bret Hart. That was definitely one, her uncle, and notably missing was Jim the Anvil Neidhart, her father. You don't think on Father's Day it would be a good time to say, hey, one of my biggest influences was my father. I don't know what's going on with Jim and the WWE. They pretend he doesn't exist, but yet he's on Total Divas. I don't know, but Jim exists, and he is her father. Let's acknowledge that, and we're going to talk about that later during our match as well. So that's about it from kind of our kickoff team. From there, we go on to the matches. So the first match of the kickoff show, we got Breezango versus the Golden Truth. Yesterday, my pick was definitely Breezango. I'm totally hot on these guys. Love these guys. And just can't say enough good things about where this could go, for sure, with these two workers. So definitely my pick going into it was definitely Breezango. What we got was one of the weirdest gimmick injuries. Like, this is a WTF WWE moment. Like, seriously. I mentioned they were doing suntanning skits. Obviously, it didn't sink into me when I was watching them, but WWE took this right through to the match where Golden Truth had locked them in the suntanning booths and burnt them, and they came out all red with their skin kind of hanging off, this fake skin on them, and the whole match they were getting slapped by the Golden Truth. WTF WWE. Seriously. But I will say, these four guys, even with that, all four freaking entertaining guys, and a halfway decent match, even with this crazy gimmick sunburn. At least it was entertaining. And you know what? Just don't be boring. That's what I gotta say, man. Just don't be boring. And they weren't, so that's good. Second, and the winners of that one was Golden Truth, which just mind blown. I don't even know. I don't even know what they plan to do with this. Where do these teams go from here? Are we going to see more of these teams still facing each other? Are they going to face anybody else in the tag team division? Are these legitimate teams? All these questions still need to be answered. I don't have the answers. From there, we go to our second match of the kickoff show, the Lucha Dragons versus the Dudley Boys. I was firmly in the Lucha Dragons winning this one. Didn't see the point of putting on the Dudley Boys. We'll see how that turns out. The one thing I will say about this one is we got a network commercial right in the middle of the match. Ugh. The amount of commercials on the kickoff show is already insane. It's an exercise in patience for me to get through the kickoff show with all the commercials and all the packages that I've already seen and I'm going to see again during the main show, and I know this. And then to put a commercial for the network right in the middle of what is actually a very, very competitive, excellent match, just WTF, WWE. WTF. So, this very competitive match, lots of actions. Lucha Dragon and Dudley Boys put on a much better match than I was expecting. I don't know why I would be not expecting a good match. like Lucha Dragons have been putting on good matches. So this was definitely a good one. Not a lot to talk about here. I will say, Mauro Ranallo, the A-team of commentary in WWE by himself. Just Mauro is the A-team, and everybody else is the B-team. He was just on point. One of his comments during that match, Game of Thrones isn't the only TV show with flying dragons. Wow, the dragons were flying over the top rope. Brilliant. The things this guy comes up with and says, love this guy. And you know what I really love about Mauro? He's a guy that when he's calling a match, it seems like he loves professional wrestling. And that's what I want. I want somebody who loves professional wrestling. Because I love professional wrestling. We're all watching professional wrestling. Why shouldn't the guy calling the match love professional wrestling? Mauro Ranallo makes me feel like he does. Very reminiscent of guys like Jim Ross. There's a guy who made me feel like he loved professional wrestling. Vampiro on Lucha Underground. You know, may not be for everybody, but I love it when Vampiro like stands up. He can't even call the match anymore. He's just gonna watch it all happen. He's like, sorry, Matt Striker, you call it on your own. I feel like Vampiro loves professional wrestling. So, side note, but anyways, Mauro Ranallo, the A-team of WWE commentary. Love it. As for the Lucha Dragons and Dudleys, not a ton of highlights in the match, just super competitive. Lucha Dragons getting the win in the end. Love that decision, keeping that team strong. Not sure where this leaves the Dudleys and where they're going to move on from here. Hopefully they can get an angle where they can get moving in. They just definitely feel like they haven't gotten going since coming back to WWE, and they came back with such hype, and then it's kind of fallen flat. So we'll see where this goes for them. And then that's it. That's our kickoff show, and then it's time to go to the main card. On the main card, we have Michael Cole, JBL, and Brian Saxton giving us the commentary, and we got Todd Phillips doing our backstage interviews. And our first match of Money in the Bank of the main card is the tag match. So we get our tag match with the New Day, and we get Enzo and Cass, and the Vaudevillains, and the Club. This was a match I was definitely looking forward to. It came and started off the show big, and I will say big. All these guys like stepped it up for this show. Everybody had like new ring gear, entrance gear. We got new ring gear on New Day, new ring gear on Enzo and Cass, new like big entrance for the Vaudevillains, new ring gear and entrance gear for the Club. Just Mania feel. Like they keep talking about this is like a Mania Money in the Bank. Total Mania feel. Like I get these 4 teams coming out and I'm like, whoa, they're stepping this up for this event. Loved the entrances. We do get a promo with Enzo and Cass, their usual shtick, pretty good stuff. We get another, usual shtick from the New Day. They're fantastic, doing their Chewbacca on Cass. Love it, love it, love it. After that, what do we got? The one thing I will say about that match, the NXT guys definitely stepped up. So Enzo and Cass and the Vaudevillains, they stepped up during that match huge. They were excellent during that match. Really showed that they can hang with those other teams. So I thought that was really, really good. Another guy who just, this guy impresses me all the time, but Big E, man, talk about taking bumps. This guy takes big bumps, 2 huge bumps to the outside of the ring during that match. For a dude that size to be flying to the outside of the ring, I don't know how this guy does it and stays injury free. But good on you, Big E. Keep it up. Love New Day. Love Big E. And the only, there was a little bit of a botch in that match. It was kind of weird where Kofi was going for a Trouble in Paradise and missed and was missing, and it looked really weird. But you know what? He did a total backflip into a DDT or something, and the fans were right back on his side. And that's why you love a guy like Kofi Kingston, because you botch and then you nail the next move, and everybody you're watching the match and going on. The winners of that match were the New Day, still tag team champions, still moving towards Brian Kendrick and Paul London's record, which I'm sure they're going to hit or get really damn close to, because that's obviously where they want the storyline to go. So after that, we get After that match, we get Kevin Owens cutting a promo in the back with Todd Phillips, who Todd Phillips is essentially on mic stand during this promo. He might as well not be there. This is actually Kevin Owens interviewing Kevin Owens until we get Alberto Del Rio coming in, and then Chris Jericho interrupts, and it's still just the Kevin Owens show. Him just bantering with the two of them. I don't know why Todd Phillips just is there to hold the mic. That's it. And Kevin Owens is brilliant. Brilliant interacting with Del Rio and Jericho. Great promo. Love Kevin Owens. Can't wait to see him in Money in the Bank. Well, I already saw him in Money in the Bank, but we'll get there. Next match, Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler. Not much to say about this match. It was definitely a slower paced match. The one thing I did want to touch on, we did get a really loud boring chant during this match. I disagree. Well, one, I disagree with the entire notion of a boring chant. That is ridiculous and insulting. I don't, there's no way to control the WWE fans, but gosh, I just wish they would stop doing that. That is, these guys are telling a story, and there's different types of stories. Some are really fast-paced, some are a little more slow and plotting, but they're telling a story. Watch the story. Like, seriously, watch the story. Like, try to just stay focused on something for like 2 minutes. Just hate the boring chant. Hate it. That being said, there's not a lot to talk about, except for the fact that Baron Corbin goes on to win this match, which is awesome. That's exactly what I thought should happen. That's what I wanted to happen. Baron Corbin needs to just finish this angle with Ziggler and move on to something else. Hopefully, that's what tonight did. And so that's perfect for me. For me, that's great storytelling. We're finished up here. Moving on to whatever the next feud is for Baron Corbin. After that, we get the women's tag team match. Natalya and Becky Lynch taking on Dana Brooke and Charlotte. During that match, again, touching back on the boring chant, we get a "We Want Sasha" chant during that match, which is even more insulting when she's injured, because you're saying, you're so boring, I would rather watch an injured person than you, which is ridiculous. It's the same with the boring chant, the "We Want Sasha" chants. If you want to, if it makes sense contextually, sometimes that's fine, but in the middle of someone else's match entirely, nothing to do with Sasha, man, WWE fans, I don't know what to do with you. I wish it would stop, but hey, that's just me. That's just my opinion. During that match, I said I would talk about it again, the whole Jim the Anvil Neidhart thing. We did get a reference to Natalya from the commentators who said, and that's Natalya, the niece of Bret Hart. Yes, that's true. That's also Natalya, the daughter of Jim the Anvil Neidhart. And it just happens to be Father's Day. Like, does nobody see this? Jim is obviously on bad terms with WWE, because, I don't know, this is just weird to me that on Father's Day, they would not even make reference of the Anvil. And it's sad, because, I was always an Anvil guy, not a Hitman guy. So for me, it's super sad. What else during that match? We get, so during that match, which I already said blah to this match, and it was a blah match, and then in the end, Becky Lynch and Charlotte bump into each other, allowing Charlotte to go on, hit natural selection, get the pin. Dana Brooke and Charlotte win. And then we kind of see the point of this whole match, because yesterday I was going, what's the point of this whole match? Which I don't know, because I don't see the future. The whole point of it was to set up a Natalya heel turn. And Natalya, after the match, turns on Becky Lynch, attacks Becky Lynch, whatever. I assume we're getting this because with a brand split coming up, we need more female heels, which right now the company's basically operating as like Charlotte's the heel and all their females are basically face, which is not great. So I assume Natalya is going to be another top heel for when we get the brand split, which is good. This match actually turned out good. It moved the storyline a little, it moved the storyline on more. This allows the Natalya-Charlotte storyline to end, which thank goodness that's over, and we're going to get something new there. So I'm happy with that. That was a good outcome. After that, we get a Dean Ambrose interview with Todd Phillips. Not much to say there. Dean Ambrose, or Todd Phillips again, just holding the mic. Ambrose doing his thing. And the next match is Sheamus and Apollo Crews. This match was a very interesting match, as I was really big on. If you hear that, that's just my little baby in the background. Hi, Lorelai. She's hungry and she needs fed. Anyways, Sheamus versus Apollo Crews. This was an interesting match for me. I was really high on Apollo Crews coming in and thought he was booked weak, but thought maybe they should put Sheamus over just because of everything Sheamus has accomplished in the last year. Thought it might be weird having Apollo Crews win, but they gave the win to Apollo Crews on this one, mind you. It was by a roll-up, but still, Apollo Crews gets the win. A scrappy win, but a win, so that's good. And I will say, during this match, just some awesome stuff. We got a white noise from Sheamus off, I think it was the middle rope. Very nice. But even nicer than that, there was just this excellent series from Apollo where he hit a belly to belly from inside the ring right out to Sheamus, right onto the floor on the outside. Scary looking move, freaking crazy. And I thought, like, holy crap at that. And then Apollo Crews gets out to the apron and hits a moonsault off the apron onto Sheamus on the floor. This is the kind of stuff that makes me go, keep your eye on Apollo Crews. This kid's going somewhere. This kid's going somewhere. That was just an excellent piece of wrestling there. After that, we get one of the most hyped matches of this Money in the Bank pay-per-view, AJ Styles versus John Cena. Going into it, I would have loved to see an AJ Styles win, but I thought Cena was going to win, and I was wrong. They let Styles win one. Super happy about that. Super happy Styles is finally off the pay-per-view losing track and winning matches. And happy not just for him, for the club, because he is the leader of the club, and if he can't win a match, the club doesn't bowl very well. So really happy he won. A lot of This Is Awesome chants in that one. The first time it came around, I was like, really? Not quite awesome yet for me, but by the time the second one came along, this match was awesome. So this is definitely one to watch for. Only match that stuck out to me was John Cena kind of taking a play out of Randy Orton's playbook, and instead of hitting the RKO out of nowhere, he hit an STF out of nowhere, like out of midair, basically pulled AJ down, and it was a beautiful STF. I love that. That was the only move that really stood out for me there. But in the end of that match, Styles got the win, but it was a bit of a schmoz, which some people say takes the shine off that match because it was such a good match. And in the end, the ref gets knocked out. We get a club run in, and I think they hit the Magic Killer, and then Styles gets put on top for the win. Yeah, for some people that might take the shine off, but not for me. They got to continue the storyline anyways. AJ Styles is the heel, despite that people love him. He's still the heel in this storyline, and this is what heels do. So I got no problem with that. That's great. Money in the Bank. After that, we get our Money in the Bank match with Alberto Del Rio and Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho and Sami Zayn and Dean Ambrose and one other dude in there. Cesaro. So this match was just excellent match. This is awesome chants, a couple holy shit chant. The fans were totally into this match. A couple highlights for me, just an insane springboard uppercut from Cesaro off the ladder onto the ropes, and then with the springboard uppercut, just phenomenal. Took my breath away. Great move. And then just OMG, Sami Zayn hitting a driver on Kevin Owens onto not just the ladder, but onto the ladder standing up right on the edge, just on his back. Just OMG. That move looked Like, it killed Kevin Owens. This was definitely a good match, full of a lot of great spots. The end of the match, I want to call Mount Doom. They assemble like a ladder with other ladders and then some other ladder beside it and create a mountain of ladders in the middle of the ring. It's great because it gives a lot of guys ability to work on the ladder, so it wasn't like one guy crawling up. Everybody was able to get up there and scramble around for the briefcase. Unfortunately, during that scramble, Alberto Del Rio was up on one of those ladders that got kicked over, and on his way down, which is where we think the injury happened, instead of landing before the ropes or after the ropes, he landed like on the ropes. Like, one of his legs landed square on the top rope as he was coming down, and he kind of jolted back. And if you guys remember just a while back with Enzo hitting the rope, and if you remember way back to the unfortunate incident with Owen Hart, one of the things they said in that incident is when he was dropping, he hit the ropes, and that's what really, if he had hit the ring, it would have been much better. Those ropes are serious. So, again, hopefully Del Rio's fine. WWE hasn't acknowledged an injury yet, so we'll see tonight. And then the winner of that match, which is it's important, I guess, Dean Ambrose, which not who I picked, but we talked about as a potential winner, and I'm very happy with that outcome. I still think the promos that Kevin Owens could cut would have been amazing, but the bottom line is Kevin Owens cut an amazing promo tonight, and he didn't have a briefcase. Kevin Owens doesn't need a briefcase. Kevin Owens can after a promo 7 days a week, 365 days a year, under any conditions. Kevin Owens is going to be fine. So that's not a problem. After that, we get a kickoff check-in with the kickoff panel. We've already reviewed the kickoff show, so this is meaningless for us, but it's another chance for us to say hey to Renee Young, which you may not know that, but fellow Canadian, hey, Renee Young. So I'm always going to give her the shout-outs. And by the way, I think she's awesome, and she could do everything in WWE. Renee Young is everything. Like, I think she's just phenomenal. Like, it could be like referee Renee Young, announcer Renee Young, commentator Renee Young, backstage interview Renee Young. I'd be fine. I'd be totally fine with that. That'd be great. After the kickoff show, we get the U.S. title match between Rusev and Titus O'Neil. Going into this, I'm wanting Rusev to be booked strong, to beat Titus, and that's exactly where they go with this match. They have Rusev go over Titus. Perfect, keeping those heels strong. Only thing with this match is it had to follow that Money in the Bank match, and I don't know, well, I do know why they put it where they put it, but that's a tough act to follow, so I feel a little bad for them. One thing I did know during that match, watching Rusev get his big stomps on, totally reminiscent of Rugged Ronnie Garvin. I want to see Rusev bring back the Garvin Stomp. And if you don't know what the Garvin Stomp is, and if you don't know who Rugged Ronnie Garvin is, then, Google it. Look it up. Rugged Ronnie Garvin, the Garvin Stomp. I want it to come back. I want Rusev to do it. After that, we get our main event of the evening, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. This match starts, and the fans are firmly against Roman Reigns. Firmly against Roman Reigns. Really tough to be booked as a face when the fans are that much against you. We did get a small "You Can't Wrestle" chant during that match. Really low, and I don't know if everybody heard it, but of the chants we've talked about tonight, boring, we want Sasha, "You Can't Wrestle" is my least favorite of those chants. Like, unless the person really can't wrestle, but that we all know, that's not the case. Roman Reigns puts on good matches. One guy can't be a wrestling match. So if you like Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, then you like Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns was part of Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. So this "You Can't Wrestle" chant just drives me, it's just so insulting. It's so bonkers, and it doesn't even make sense. Of course he can wrestle. You don't like him. If there's any reason you don't like Roman Reigns, let me tell you right now, it's for his talking and not his wrestling. Because there's no problem with his wrestling. From my point of view, maybe guys inside the industry, they can nitpick, but from this Mark's point of view, there's no problem there. Okay, he puts on decent matches. So the you can't wrestle. Let's cut that. Let's cut that out. That's crap. Other than that, we get some big moves in that one. We got a razor's edge into a sit-down powerbomb from Roman Reigns onto Seth Rollins. That was like super impressive. Had him up at the razor's edge. I'm like, where's he gonna go with this? Sit-down powerbomb. Reminiscent of Mike Awesome, who could hit a sit-down powerbomb from like anywhere under any circumstances. More big power moves like that for Roman Reigns, and I think people are going to be liking him a little more. An even crazier move, Seth Rollins hits a superplex off the top, and you're already like, yeah, superplex, rolls it over, pulls Reigns up, and then puts him right into the Falcon's Arrow. Beautiful, Seth Rollins. This is why we've missed you. This is why we love you. Thank you for coming back, Seth Rollins. That was a beautiful move. Another big one, Roman hitting a spear into the barricade. This is another thing, like, you can't wrestle. Bah. Roman Reigns hits like full speed on the outside of the ring and just drives himself into the barricade. Rollins gets out of the way. It looked beautiful, though. It just looks so good. He just looks like he hits so hard, blows the barricade away. Good job. In the end of the match, coming out of the end of the match, we get Rollins hitting like some mid-air pedigree as Reigns tries to hit the spear on him, and then follows it up by a second pedigree, and boom. We get the pin, and Seth Rollins beats Roman Reigns, and does what I did not think was going to happen. Like, I just could not see this outcome ever happening. But there it was, Seth Rollins, your new WWE champion. Until Dean Ambrose music hits. And while Seth Rollins is distracted, Dean Ambrose comes in with the Money in the Bank briefcase, takes out Seth Rollins with it, hands over the briefcase, hits the Dirty Deeds on Rollins. 1, 2, 3, and your new WWE champion, the second new WWE champion of the night, Dean Ambrose. And then we get Dean Ambrose celebrating outside the ring as the pay-per-view gets off the air. So there you have it. That's Money in the Bank. I'll just go through some of my overall thoughts. Biggest upset of the night for me was Roman Reigns. A lot of people might not think so, but the way I see it, and I said this yesterday, if Rollins beats Reigns, it proves that he was doing nothing but keeping that belt warm until Rollins comes back. And I don't know if that's the message WWE is trying to send, but that's the message they did send, because it wasn't a schmoz. Rollins went clean over Reigns, which means Reigns was just dusting it, shining it, keeping it warm, interim champ until the real champ came back, Seth Rollins. Because regardless of Ambrose's win over Rollins after that, anything that happened after that doesn't negate the fact that Rollins went clean over Reigns. So, upset of the night, Roman Reigns. Win of the night, the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. This, I'm so happy, even though I didn't even pick him to win. I'm so happy he finally gets a win. That is definitely the win of the night for me. Shock of the night is the Money in the Bank cash-in. I thought it might happen with the draft coming up, and they may not want to do a long storyline with Money in the Bank, but I think Ambrose, Reigns, and Rollins could have done a really cool, longer storyline with the briefcase. When I saw Ambrose win, I thought, oh, this could be cool. But obviously, WWE sees what's coming, and I don't, and they must have a plan. So we got the cash-in. That's my shocker of the night. Match of the night, the Money in the Bank match, for which this pay-per-view is named after. How could it not be the match of the night with those 6 guys in it? It was amazing. My overall rank for this pay-per-view, I don't want to be super negative when I'm ranking stuff, but I am going to rank everything I do review, and I'm just going to do a simple 3-stage kind of ranking system, which is skip it, watch it, and oh my God, you can't miss this! So this Money in the Bank pay-per-view for me was a watch, solid watch. Wasn't in that, oh my God, you cannot miss this territory, but it's a solid watch. I wouldn't skip this one. There's some good matches in there. Kevin Owens' promo's hilarious. There's good stuff. So Money in the Bank pay-per-view, it's a watch for me. Good night, everyone. Enjoy the 3rd episode, or I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you tomorrow with my Raw review, episode 4.